Very good morning to all of you. I have a great pleasure to stand before you for the academic year 2020-21. All of you are aware that due to COVID-19 impact on the entire world, all systems in the world are hard hit. Education system is also not exception to that. And last year, universities and other examination boards didn't conduct the examination. Without examinations, because of the coronavirus spread and infection, they promoted the students to the next class. Your batch is promoted by the university, and I regret to notice that you are very eager to attend the classes, but because of this bad environment, that is a spread of coronavirus, we are trying our level best as per the Government of India and Higher Education Department of Karnataka and Rani Chennamma University direction, and also SVS College management and principal. We have tried our level best to reach you online, and somehow we would like to manage the higher education system. Once again, being a head of the Department of Commerce, myself, Dr. C.R. Gudsi, extend a hearty welcome to the academic year 2020-21. Well, friends, all of you are aware that there are semesters. Out of the semesters, we classify the semester into odd semesters and even semesters. Now, odd semester is running. Now, you have taken admission, and all of you have passed, those who have filled the examination form. And be serious and try to learn. Knowledge itself is the wealth, and I hope you will add knowledge to your existing knowledge. With these few words of remarks, I would like to touch upon the syllabus which is kept for you. Out of the 7 subjects, I am going to deal with the subject that is income tax. Income tax, paper 1. It is a compulsory subject, and now I would like to bring to your notice, as you are aware that each subject is having 5 units. 5 units means 5 chapters. Out of that, today I would like to give you the focus on the chapter that is Introduction to Income Tax, and definitions, concepts, some guidelines. Now, to start with, let us understand history of income tax in India. When this income tax introduced in India, that we have to look back. All of us are aware that India is ruled by British for more than 4 centuries. Indians demanded freedom and fought for that. And 1857 is a landmark in the history of Indian freedom movement. That is, soldiers' mutiny was taken place. Soldiers were denied to work in favor of the British government, and they fought for that. And they made losses to the government of British, and ultimately British government, they thought of how to recover the loss incurred due to the soldiers' mutiny. And finally, temporarily they introduced income tax in India for recover the loss occurred due to soldiers' mutiny in the year 1857. And afterwards, the British government, what they planned, they started getting the revenue income. Why don't we introduce continuously to run the government, to manage the government. Like that, they planned and ultimately they introduced and they passed one act initially in the year 1860. British imposed all over India income tax. And afterwards, what they did, first time in India, 1886, Income Tax Act was passed by the British government. And later on, due to some cumbersomes, due to some difficulties in implementation of the income tax, the amendments were made as and when required. Accordingly, 1918, the Amendment Act was passed. That is Amendment Act 1980, Income Tax Act. And ultimately, again there were some cumbersomes and difficulties in imposing income tax in India, and difficulties in what you call to bring into force. Again, to simplify the act, one more act was passed, that is Income Tax Act 1922. That was replaced the 1918 Act. And ultimately, soon after getting independence in the year 1947, Government of India appointed a law commission and also banking inquiry committee. Both the committees surveyed and ultimately given report to the Government of India, and finally they thought of what you call drafting the Income Tax Act. Ultimately, Income Tax Act was passed in the Parliament. That act was called as Income Tax Act 1961, and that Income Tax Act came into force from 1st April 1962. That is applicable to whole of India. And right now also the Income Tax Act 1961 is operating. Okay, well friends, with these few words, now let us understand what is tax. The tax is the what we call a price which we pay for a civilized society. Tax is nothing but a compulsory payment to the government without a proportionate return. And tax is the amount paid by the persons staying within the limit of India, and tax is also regarded as a revenue to its government. Now let us understand what is income tax. So income tax is a direct tax. The name itself indicating that income tax is a tax on income. And let us understand what is income. It is a monetary benefit received by the assessee. Now let us understand who is the assessee. The person who is liable to pay tax is called as assessee. In India, the assessees are classified into, on their age, classified into 3 groups. Those who are 60 and below 60 age, they are also having certain rates of income tax. And the persons who crossed the age of 60 and less than 80 years, they are called as senior citizens. For them, the what you call tax rates are different. Those who are 80 and above, they are called as super senior citizens. For them, income tax rates are different. For citizens of India, those who are having what you call up to 2,50,000, they need not pay tax. If they are having more than 2,50,000 rupees income, they are liable to pay tax. In case of senior citizens, those who are having income more than 3 lakhs, they are required to pay tax to Government of India. And in case of senior citizens, if they are having income more than 5 lakhs, then only they are liable to pay tax to the Government of India. So this is as to the what you call the assessees are classified based on their the age, that is up to 60, up to 80 and above 80, like that. With these few words, now let us go for the what you call the characteristics or features of tax. The word tax was derived from the Latin word taxor. The meaning of the taxor is estimate or appreciate or value. Now let us see characteristics. Number 1 is tax is compulsory payment to be made by the citizens who are liable to pay. Number 2 character is it is used for public purpose. Number 3 is it is not payment for specific services rendered by the state for taxpayers. Number 4 is tax is levied by the state by the virtue of sovereign powers conferred by the under the Indian Constitution. Finally, fifth is a tax is payable regularly and periodically as determined by the tax authority. So these are the some of the what we call features of tax. Now let us see certain canons or principles of taxation. There are certain principles behind the introduction of the tax. First, that principle is principle of equity, principle of certainty, principle of economy, principle of convenience. These are the main principles of what we call income tax. And other canons of taxation are there. Canon of productivity, canon of elasticity, canon of simplicity, canon of diversity, and canon of expediency. And in addition to that, we are required to understand what are the objectives of introduction of the income tax. As we are aware that in India there are two groups, that is haves and have-nots, rich and poor people. And to uplift the poor people, government, the main intention is to develop the society, that is welfare society, and collecting the tax from the rich people and ultimately spending on the welfare of the poor people. That is what we call. To reduce the gap between rich and poor and to create employment to the public at large, that is a main motto behind the introduction of the income tax. And in addition, we may also classify into two categories, that is objectives of taxation, main objectives and subsidiary objectives. Let us understand number one, main objective, that is ಜನರೇಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ರೆವಿನ್ಯೂ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಸರ್ಕಾರಕ್ಕೆ ಆದಾಯವನ್ನು ಕಂಡುಕೊಳ್ಳುವುದು ಪ್ರಮುಖವಾದ ಒಂದು ಉದ್ದೇಶವಾಗಿದೆ. ಮೇಂಟೆನೆನ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ವೆಲ್ಫೇರ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ಅಂತ, ಕಲ್ಯಾಣ ರಾಜ್ಯವನ್ನು ಮುಂದುವರಿಸಿಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗುವುದು ಅಂತ, ಮೇಂಟೆನೆನ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ವೆಲ್ಫೇರ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್. ಪ್ರಿವೆನ್ಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ಕಾನ್ಸಂಟ್ರೇಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ಎಕನಾಮಿಕ್ ಪವರ್, ಕೆಲವೇ ಜನರಲ್ಲಿ ಅರ್ಥವ್ಯವಸ್ಥೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಹಿಡಿತದಲ್ಲಿ ಇರದಂತೆ ನೋಡಿಕೊಳ್ಳುವುದು, ಅದ ವೆಲ್ತ್ ಇನ್ ಹ್ಯಾಂಡ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಫ್ಯೂ ಪೀಪಲ್ ಅಂತ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ರೀಡಿಸ್ಟ್ರಿಬ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ವೆಲ್ತ್ ಫಾರ್ ದ ಕಾಮನ್ ಬೆನಿಫಿಟ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಸೊಸೈಟಿ. ರೀಡಿಸ್ಟ್ರಿಬ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಮರು ಹಂಚಿಕೆ ಮಾಡೋದು, ದೇಶದ ಸಂಪತ್ತನ್ನು ಮರು ಹಂಚಿಕೆ ಮಾಡಿ ಸಮಾನತೆಯನ್ನು ತರಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಪ್ರಯತ್ನವನ್ನು ಮಾಡುವುದು ಏನೆಂದ್ರೆ ಪ್ರಮುಖವಾದ ಉದ್ದೇಶಗಳಾಗಿವೆ ತೆರಿಗೆಯನ್ನು ಇಂಟ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡೋದು. ಇನ್ನು ಸಬ್ಸಿಡರಿ ಅಂದರೆ ಪೂರಕವಾದ ಉದ್ದೇಶಗಳು ಯಾವ ಅನ್ನೋದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ, ಆಕ್ಸಿಲರೇಟ್ ಸೇವಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ದೇರ್ ಬೈ ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್. ಸೇವಿಂಗ್ಸ್ to develop the what you call saving habit among the what you call citizens of India, and also that saving amount is invested in the industry and infrastructure development. Secondly, bring about a rapid economic development. Rapid economic development, that is increasing the GDP, gross domestic product, like that. Generation of employment avenues. As India is suffering from employment, to provide employment opportunities, provision of employment is possible through establishment of industry, through what you call development of the infrastructure in the country. So now let us see what are the types of taxes. Total taxes are classified into two types. One is what you call direct tax, one more is indirect tax. Direct tax consisting of what we call directly levied by the government on the citizens of India. The major example of direct tax is that is what we call income tax, wealth tax. Wealth tax, of course, when Modi came to power, he abolished the wealth tax. But gift tax is also there, that is also direct tax. And indirect tax. Indirect tax means that is imposed on the goods and services produced and purchased and sold in the entire country. It is not only applicable to rich people but also poor people. It is indirectly paid by them. That is, now previously there were 17 indirect taxes are there. Central sales tax, state sales tax, interstate sales tax, like that. Recently, Government of India, one nation, one tax, they introduced. That is what we call GST, goods and services tax introduced. For whole India, one tax system is prevailing for indirect tax purposes. In this GST replaced 17 tax and made it very simple to people of India and increasing the what we call revenue to the government. With these few words, I would like to close the topic today, and let us see tomorrow onwards regarding income tax, who is liable to pay tax, and direct tax, indirect tax differences also. Thank you very much.